Ich werde heute ein oh ja. Oh.
Right.
Hi.
Hey there.
Hey, that's so cool. It's my first time that I'm doing a YouTube live together. I never did it actually. So,
Likewise. Likewise.
yeah, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I think like vertical or horizontal, I was wondering, but I think like that it's pretty cool.
Perfect.
Oh wow, it's I did not did many live streams in the last time. I'm really curious. So, but I'm happy to see you today. I'm really happy that you are here and that you took your time because we had some. Remember, with the time schedule, it's a little bit difficult. You are in. Where are you right now?
I'm in Texas, USA. So yeah, it's a little difficult with the time difference. Yeah.
Exactly, and I'm in Thailand. It's now 9 p.m. and you have like 8 a.m.
Yes, it's 8 a.m. here now. Yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
cool. Yeah, and today we're talking about your journey. So I'm really happy that you are able to share a little bit about your, how can I call it actually? How would you call your journey?
You know, it's just been a journey. You know, it's been a healing journey, a spiritual journey, an emotional journey, a
Hmm.
soulful journey, just a sacred journey. Yeah. And it's all a learning and it's
Hmm.
ongoing, continuing. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember the last talk what we had was, when was it? How many weeks ago?
It was some time ago, but it was a phenomenal talk. You know, I just really enjoyed your cocoa feasting, your cocoa just journey of understanding yourself deeply and even more, just
Mhm.
going, you know, so many days on water and just revealing and healing in so many miraculous ways. I really enjoyed your learnings through your journey. And I also enjoyed your practicality. I enjoyed your authenticity, your honesty, your transparency, and also your realness. Just your realness, Justine, the way that you're able to not, you know, not have any shame or any guilt, you know, surrounding who you are at your core and just letting it shine brighter. I just really enjoyed that about you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's really beautiful what you're saying. Yeah, that was a very interesting time because it was right after my 7 days of dry fasting.
Hmm.
Really, yeah, really crazy how I felt. I felt very different now. I was eating now the last time, until now I was eating. And today I wanted to ask you a lot. Actually, I was thinking very often of you about you since we talked, and I had very often many questions about it because I'm such a big fan of fasting, really. I love it. And you are living this. I mean, I have to introduce you, really, right? So I just knew you that you did a talk once with Tim. That was a while ago. My neighbor, Tim, who I was also in my vlogs. Some people who looking my content, watching my content, they know him already because he's doing the urine therapy. Yeah, he's drinking his urine. He's drinking his urine.
Hmm.
Tim?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we met in Italy. When I first met Tim, it was
Ah,
in
true.
Italy. We played chess with each other. Yeah.
True, true. You told me this the last time already. Uh,
Yeah.
can you see me very well? Moment, I just wanted to check if the connection is really good because I just saw that
Yeah.
it was a little bit slowly. Sometimes I don't see your face, so I want to check here. Oh no,
I
it's
see you
perfect.
perfectly. Yeah,
Oh
I see
yeah, you
you
are right.
perfectly.
On
Mhm.
on the computer, it's way better when I see you than here on my phone. It's like slow motion. I see you
Oh,
in
okay,
slow
okay.
motion. Okay, but
Okay.
here it's way better. Yeah, and
Yeah,
also if people are there, my
mhm.
people, and you can ask questions. I never did a live or a video in English, so maybe there are some Germans who would like to know something about fasting. Now it's the time because now we're talking with Jerome, and Jerome is not eating since now 2 years, right?
Yeah, it's been over 2 years now. And you were speaking of Tim, you were saying something about meeting with Tim or something about Tim with his Orin therapy with Shivambu.
Yeah, exactly. So I've met actually Jerome. I saw that Tim did an interview with you on
Right.
his Instagram. I think, and then I was really impressed about it because we talk very often. Tim and me, we talk very often about fasting, about
Hmm.
chronic living, about immortality, about urine therapy. And you
Hmm.
know, Tim is a German guy, and in Germany, it's not common to talk about that. And Germans are very judgmental. They would call people like this crazy. This is not normal. You know, under my videos, when I'm talking about dry fasting, the people would say, hey, you are lying. It is not possible to not drink for 7 days. You would die. You are lying. So, I mean, it's not that everyone is saying that, but it's definitely happening. And so
Yeah.
I was really happy to see that Tim was talking with you, with someone, you know, really who is living this kind where you are not like now, not, I mean, you're drinking liquids, right? But
Yeah.
you've mentioned that your mentor is not drinking and not eating anymore, right?
Yeah, I have several mentors, but a couple of mine, they've been on the path for a while. And one
Hmm.
of them, yeah, since I've known him for these 4 or 5 years now, I've never seen him ingest anything. You know, I've never seen him consume anything. And yeah, he just lives like that. So he's definitely a testament to what can be accomplished through time and discipline, or just allowing, really surrender. I think he's surrendered to his journey, surrendered to his path, and has continued to learn even more and just continued his expansion. So, yeah,
Hmm.
never seen him eat, drink, or even have to, relieve himself, have to step outside of the group to go take a break or go to the restroom. None of that has been necessary since I've known him. Yeah.
Wow. Look, and this is for me very inspiring and very supportive because sometimes I don't know, today you're gonna share your journey. So I will ask, it's not leaving anymore. What can I do? Even when I'm not now eating again, I'm eating, you know, I have my long periods of coconut water fasting, then sometimes I do a dry fasting, but also always when I start eating again, I really feel it's the calling that I want to do it again and again and again. It's not leaving me anymore. Like
Mm.
really, it's, and what can I do? It's not that I'm choosing. I did not choose this way, you know. I never said, "Oh, I know I want to stop eating and drinking," because it's just happening. And now I see you, and I think I need this. I need also the talk with you because I don't want to feel weird, you know. I don't want to feel like I'm a weird person or what's wrong with me. I mean, it's really hard in this way of living, and you don't know anyone who's living this way really
Mm.
around you. So when, so maybe you can tell me, when did your first, or when did you had your first thought about doing a fast or like stop eating, or how it came into your life?
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Justine, for asking that. And, just by the way, you're not crazy. Just know like you're completely normal. You're not crazy. You're not alone. There's so many more people, and it's continuing, it's continuing to grow and flourish and blossom and bloom in the world. These people just like you and I, who are expanding in beautiful ways, learning and growing, and just getting in tune and in touch with like-minded people, like-minded souls, kindred spirits
Mhm.
who are allowing themselves to embrace a new way of life,
Mhm.
or remember an ancient way of life that maybe we've forgotten.
Mhm.
Maybe we've actually forgotten that this is actually more normal than we realize, and that a lot of the practices that we've adopted today with overconsumption, with mass consumption, is actually an abnormal way of living that we have normalized through, unconscious programming, subliminal programming, subconscious programming. And, through no fault of our own, we're just kind of passing generationally, just all of these tendencies and, propensities and proclivities and practices that we really don't understand, where they come from, where they originated. So thank you for just being a testimony, being a testament, and being fearless in your path and your journey, because everyone's is unique.
Mhm.
Everyone's is unique. So when
Mhm.
you ask me, Justine, how did mine originate? Definitely from a place of pain, from a place of sorrow, from a place of anguish with a relationship that I was in for well, at least a decade. We were together for a decade,
Mhm.
and we were married for 2 years out of that decade. When we separated, my ex-partner and I went to California, and this was when I drove from Texas to California, just
Mhm.
trying to find my way, trying to find my identity, trying to reclaim myself, like the reclamation of who is Jerome Shaw? Who is this person?
Yeah.
Who am I without this person in my life anymore? Who can I be without this person that I thought would have been forever? We thought we would be forever. We never thought, we were gonna split and be apart.
Mhm.
But when things become that toxic, if you've been, I'm sure you probably been in some toxic, maybe a couple or maybe one or two toxic relationships. I've definitely been in a few,
Mhm.
and I can tell you that when enough is enough, it's enough.
Mhm.
You know that it's enough. And it gets tough because you feel the deterioration inside of your body. It becomes from emotional, from mental, and then it turns to physical. Like you really start exhibiting physical nausea and deterioration, the mental breakdown of the situation that you can't get out.
Mhm.
So to really climb yourself out of that lower vibration, sometimes it takes a relocation. So when I went to California, that was like my emancipation proclamation. Like, okay, let's find out who I am. And I discovered through falling in with a tribe of monks and nuns, in a monastery, that they welcomed me into their monastery, their meditation center called the Barwa. They're all Burmese. They were speaking Burmese. Only just a
Really?
few. Say again?
Ah. Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Mhm.
Yes. So just a few English speakers. I was one of the English speakers there at the seminar. They were teaching about meditation, all sorts of things, reasons why we suffer, and a lot of Buddhist principles. So they're from Myanmar, all Burmese.
Mhm.
And when they welcomed me in, they don't eat afternoon, so I started to slowly adopt their practice. I was shaving my head at the time as well,
Oh,
just like the monks
wow.
and nuns. I
Uh-huh.
was wearing minimal clothing. I was giving away books and bags and boxes of clothes and games and movies and all sorts of books, things I wasn't no you know was no longer using. I was starting to donate and sell and just giving things away, and just the layers and layers started to peel. Then it started to reveal, and I started to feel even more when I just started to detach. So mindfulness and detachment were the teachings that they were teaching, that were some of the basics,
Oh,
mindfulness and detachment.
that's
That
good.
was teaching me more about meditation and just a lot of the things in relation to my mentality, my reality, and just the emotional conduct that I had up until that point. Then they allowed me to go stay in their property in Lake Elsinore, which is on a hill. So it's a big house in like a three-story building overlooking a huge lake in Lake Elsinore, in a winding road that led you up this mountain. And so I stayed there. I was pretty much the only one in that house at the time on the property for,
Mhm.
I guess, 2 months out of the year. This was in 2019. That was when I started fasting. So I started my first liquid journey there, and I was only gonna do 1 month, Justine. I was
Really?
only gonna do 1 month.
2019. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
2019 was the first
Uh-huh.
time I had conversations like this, and that I even heard the first word, the first time I heard the word breatharian, first time I heard
Wow.
about chronic living, first
Mhm.
time I heard the word liquidarian, the first time I even knew you could live like that. I had no idea anybody could live like this.
Wow.
So that was when I started doing my research on my own, and I was
Uh-huh.
just up in there in that property,
Mhm.
and that led to everything else. I was only gonna do 1 month. 1 month turned into 3 months because I felt
No.
so good, I didn't wanna stop.
3 months on the first time?
Well,
No.
yeah, because I didn't wanna I didn't wanna stop. I felt so good. Like,
Really?
all the things that I thought that I lacked up until that point, the clarity, the focus, the
Yeah.
willingness, the willpower, the stick-to-itiveness, the consciousness to direct and concentrate my mental faculties and forces in a direction, and to
Mhm.
find more deeper connection with higher channeling source and that force that's flowing through us and growing through us at all times. You know, just the heightened sensitivity that I had during that liquid journey, it was astounding. It was mind blowing. And it was, you know, transmuting things within me that I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know that was possible. So it really felt superhuman on a lot of different levels.
Yeah.
And at a certain point of level of detox, when my body was letting go of different parasitical organisms, you know, different
Mhm.
plaque, all sorts of stuff was getting out of the vessel. I just had to continue. I had to keep going because I was like, okay, if in just 1 month I'm already feeling this, what will I feel like next month? You know, what will I feel like if I just keep going, if I just keep the energy flowing? So that's what started it all. Yeah.
But okay, this is very interesting because I think that, I mean, you know, when people ask me, "Hey, Justine, what can I? How long can I fast for the first time? What is, you know, safe?" I would say, start with a week. You know, it's okay, 1 week, and then they are like, 1 week, and then for them it's already too much. You know. But I would say also you can do it also 2 weeks. I also had in a fasting group a guy, he did it I think 4 weeks directly. But usually the people would just do it slowly, you know, and you're just saying that you did it 3 months. I mean, this is like this is crazy. I never hear that someone would just do it. So it was really like it was your, how can I say, the end of every suffer, maybe the end of suffering, when you just understood how you connect to yourself, that every illusion of, I would say, anxieties and everything, right, all these feelings what comes up sometimes, I feel like we progressing them in through doing the fasting, and then we let go, and then we are just pure, or I don't know, connected to our highest self, let's say, and to everything what is exists. And I feel it's so interesting because usually people, not everyone is ready to experience that or to see it, and you was just so ready. Maybe it was also the environment, maybe where you are, I don't know, that you are so able to do it, just to go through this whole process. It's
Well,
like
yeah.
crazy. I mean, wow. I mean, for real, I know that the last time when we talked you said also you like to eat, right? Did you like to eat a lot? You like to eat, or
I didn't like to eat, Justine. I loved to eat. I love to eat. There was, I mean, there were times where there was nothing more that I wanted to do but just sit in front of a big old plate. I ate big, 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 like huge portions. I'm talking big, big portions. I'm 6'3". You know, it may not look like it right here, but I'm 6'3",
how
and
tall is this in centimeters? Sorry, but you know we don't know in
oh,
German.
right, right.
German.
Yeah, I don't know in centimeters how tall, but yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I
tall.
mean,
Okay.
like, like just beneath your average like basketball player, I guess, you know, beneath that, right beneath that, because you know some of them are like, you know, up in the high sixes. But no, no, I'm pretty tall, and you know, I've been in the boxing gym a lot in my life. I've been very active, very physical, very athletic, so I could put a lot of weight, you know. And I was big into the protein programming, the protein myth of, you know, packing in whey protein, packing in animal products, animal flesh, animal just rotting carcasses were in my body at all times. You know, my body was digesting at all times. It was never really resting at all times, you know? So
Mhm.
when you talk about, you know, being free from the suffering, I wouldn't say that it freed me from all suffering, but I will say that it allowed me to understand
Mhm.
and really understand the suffering that I was going through a lot more deeply and a lot more intuitively, because for many years, I never made the connection or the correlation between depression, anxiety, just complications and confrontations with all the things and sensations inside of me with what I was consciously or unconsciously putting in my body. You know,
Mhm.
what I was eating, how the ways I was depleting, and I was always constantly feeding, and I was always constantly needing. That was the thing. It was just a craving and a slaving for food, and I worked for it, I toiled for it. I was very disciplined at the ways that I would find ways to get more money to buy the food, to have the energy, seemingly, to go back to work, to do it all over again. Like, if you've ever heard of the myth of Sisyphus, pushing the boulder up the mountain just to watch it fall back down, and then
Mhm.
pushing it back up the mountain just to watch it fall down again. That was my life. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, okay, wow, yeah. I'm sometimes, sometimes I'm wondering why some people can experience this and some people not, because there are so many
Mm.
people out there who would say the same. They love to eat. They love to eat, they love it so much because that's the best thing on planet Earth for the most of the people. Really, I know so many. And I'm wondering, but they all want also this feeling what we have when let's say what I have when I'm fasting, right? The connection to myself and the lightness and the remembering who I am, and like you said, understanding more about many things. Like I feel like you get just answers when you're asking because you are so clear in your mind and you receive the answers. So this is how I would describe what's happening when I'm fasting. I mean, I'm so clear. My aura is everything is different, and I'm wondering why some people can do this path, can walk it, and some people they can just not. They're just stuck in their no, I need food. Why? And then you even tell them and they see it, but they are not ready. Why is it? What would you say to this answer?
Great question, Justine. This is a phenomenal question, and I think it's going to be debated throughout time. We're always going to be going back and forth debating what is this, what is it within a person? What is the seed that is planted that
Mhm,
will allow someone to shift, that will allow someone to lift themselves out of their circumstances, their situation, and their suffer or not, the suffering that just becomes normalized. For me, constipation, that was normal. Indigestion, that was normal. Upset stomach, that was normal. Diarrhea, that was normal. Insomnia, lack of sleep, or, even waking up and not being
mhm,
rested and having to get energy drinks and caffeine to jack me up, to the spiking and falling, the roller coaster, all of that was so normal. I thought this was normal. I thought everybody lived
mhm,
like that. I thought that's not unnormal. Like, everybody lives like this. We're all going to Starbucks, right? We're all waiting in line, right? Everybody's just doing the same thing. So I never thought that there was any real abnormality to the way that I was living until I felt the sobriety. I realized I had been drugged all my life. It was like you're realizing you've been under a spell, or there's been a substance that has taken, place over your mind. It's something, there's a veil that has been, lifted. Once you go to a period, a certain duration away from consumption, you realize, first of all, how much you actually need, which is not much. You don't need much to function. You actually don't need that much. But we fool ourselves somehow into thinking that we need way more than we actually need. And you realize that on a long fast, where I was telling you, even after the first 2 weeks of not having solids, solid matter was still coming out of my body. Solid physical matter was still coming out, even though no solid matter was going in. So that was letting me know, wait a minute. Well, what? Like, how much can we actually store? How much can I explore more? And through either inspiration or desperation, these are two motivating factors. Pleasure and pain, these are two motivating factors. So the question that you asked, Justine, the age-old question of what compels somebody, what pushes somebody, what pulls somebody, or prods somebody in this direction, if it's not great inspiration, sometimes it's great desperation. They either have to be on their deathbed to try something like urine therapy, right? To consume their own perfect medicine, their own natural remedy that's coming from their own vessel, to be something that seems like so backwards, so paradoxical, like I would never consume my own waters. Why would I ever do that? It's filthy, it's nasty, it's dirty. Don't get it on your hands. And then they're faced with something like cancer, they're faced with something like a terminal illness, they're faced with something, and they finally say, you know what, forget it, let me just try it. And then, maybe they're completely constipated, completely bloated. They take a sip of their own water and they go to the bathroom and they're purging all of the foreign elements, the foreign invaders in their body for the first time in maybe weeks, maybe months. They're finally able to flush and detox using something that was readily available. It was already there the whole time. It was hidden in plain sight. It was
But
right
what
there.
with the urine, you mean, or what you mean?
Yeah, so that's only one example. So one
But
example is with that.
I don't know about that. What happens? Because Tim told me all the time when you're drinking the urine that you need to have diarrhea. Everything just comes out of your body.
So that's what happened to me the first time. So the first time I've been consuming my waters, I've been recycling and looping
Really?
since 2020, since February of 2020.
No.
Pretty much every day I've been consuming my
Really?
waters. Some of it is in aged, so some of it, in different places around the world. I have, aged, glass bottles, glass containers that are aging.
Oh.
And then, but for the most part, it's fresh. For the most part, it's
Yeah.
fresh. And when you're drinking coconut water, you're drinking juice, then it's a lot different. It gets to be a lot different. But if you're still consuming things that are very salty, very, spicy, sweet, like all sorts of different textures, flavors, then it's different. The taste might not be as palatable if you have an animalistic diet, if you have a carnivore diet. It's definitely not going to be the same as if you're juicing, or if you're, fruit based,
Oh,
or if
really?
you're raw vegan. Definitely not going to be the same taste. Yeah.
But what happened? Because look, I don't know about it. When you drink your urine, let's say, or your
Mhm.
own water, you say it. What happens? Why is it so good? Can you explain it to me? Because I don't know.
Yeah. So a couple of books that really helped me when I first started were Martha Christie's book, Your Own Perfect Medicine. And the other book was John Armstrong's book, The Water of Life. Now, these books
Really?
definitely, yeah,
The water of life.
yeah,
They call it like that?
Justine.
I don't know.
Justine. Yeah, they call it, okay, they call it the water of life, the elixir of life, the fountain of youth, Shivambu, plasma, like there's so many different words to describe it. We just usually know it as, oh, urine, oh, nasty, oh, this, oh, that. But we don't
Exactly.
really, we fear it and we don't revere it. We should, in my opinion, if I could impart this to everybody who's listening, especially my family members, my friends, my loved ones, it's it's your own perfect medicine. It's like divine. This is like
Mhm.
sacred. And the people knew this. Millions and millions of Indian, I mean, it's called Shivambu in India, it's revered. Millions and millions of Indian practitioners, millions and millions of Chinese practitioners, millions. I mean, there's millions of people using their own internal waters for so many, modalities and methods. And I mean, not just orally. Orally is one way. There's also nasally, through some people do oral enemas. I've done aged oral enemas. That's very powerful. People use it topically on the skin to clear up acne and blemishes and eczema, and like all sorts of stuff on the skin to clear it with their own internal waters. In the industry of the modeling and acting industry, models and actresses, they know this. They might not talk about it, but they understand that in most of the modern beauty products, if you look at any of the beauty products, they have urea. Urea is one of the ingredients in the beauty product. So where are they getting the urea? Like, where is the urea coming from? Where are they getting it?
Yeah. This is that's why, you know, when Tim told me, it makes for me sense, kind of, but for many people, they would not, even with the dry water fasting, they cannot, the dry fasting, people would just not, they cannot believe it because they never hear about it. Imagine all your life, I mean, you know it because you was on the same page before. So you knew, hey, what the fuck, this is not, you cannot do this is not good. You know, and people would say, but if it comes out from your body, why you should put it in again or something. Or then they would say, but do you eat your shit also? You know, they would say like this kind of things. And then I'm wondering, yeah, okay, what is it exactly? So, but is it only healthy to drink it when you would consume good products? I mean, let's say you said when you would, for example, eating meat or just liquids. Is it different than when you drink your urine, or it's the same way good? You know?
So, in my opinion, it's all good, but it's just gonna be different for your palate. So, it's talking about, how do I explain this? So, fecal matter, the waste that I feel like is actually waste, is coming out the back. We don't look back. So the fecal matter that comes out the back, the excrement, you know, the waste, the actual waste, that's waste. What we're talking about is the urine or the orin, the gold, you know, the golden water that's coming out, the channel of conception. Now, this channel of conception in the front channel, this is the same channel that, you know, for the masculine comes down, you know, the channel of life, conception. Like if semen, if sperm is coming down this channel that is able to combine and give life. If life is able to come down that channel, that canal, why would something filth come down that channel? You know, why would something that is nasty or filthy or you know, something that is abnormal, why would it come down that channel of life, the channel of conception? So I started to ask those same questions and then it makes sense. And also, it's a product of blood filtration and not waste filtration. So basically, your urine, whatever, you know, diet or whatever lifestyle you're living, whatever form of consumption that you have during that time, your urine is going to be a clear biofeedback loop to show you what your blood is looking like, because it's being taken from the blood. It's from your blood plasma. So in the medical terminology, urine is just called plasma ultrafiltrate. So they call it plasma ultrafiltrate. That's the medical terminology for urine. So it's the filtration of your blood plasma. It's your blood plasma. That's what it is. So you're basically drinking the blood plasma that is coming. It's a filtration of your blood.
Okay.
So if your urine is filthy, your blood is filthy. If your urine is toxic, your blood is toxic. So it's just showing you. It's basically just showing you. So I've even had it, you know, around the dinner table with friends and family. They didn't even know what I was drinking because it was so clear. It was so clear. They had no idea.
You mean, but the urine, it's gonna be, if you drink only liquid, for example, if I drink only my coconut water the whole time, my urine is gonna be like, not so yellow and not stinky. You mean this is a difference?
Watch it change. Watch it change over time. Watch it. So it was definitely yellow. The odor was different. The color was different. The taste was different. And everything was different back when I was consuming differently. When I was consuming a lot of the stuff that I was consuming, I could barely taste it. It was like,
really?
it was nasty. It tasted really bad. But the more that I went on juice cleansing, the more I detoxed, the more I kept going, you know, with just lighter and lighter sources, more juicing, more water, less physical substances. It changed. Everything changed.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's just letting people know what we have inside of us. It also reduces cravings as well. So
Really?
it's just all around, yeah. It's all around a complement and it's structured to your DNA. It's coming from you. So basically, it's the anti-venom, it's the antidote and the remedy to whatever you're putting inside. It's going to give you that to get it out. It just basically takes whatever is not you and it
Mhm.
starts systematically flushing it out of your body. So
Really?
if you were bitten, basically you're asking, what if I'm eating animal products? What if I'm eating all of this stuff? Can I
Mhm.
still drink my urine? Well, if you were bitten by a snake, you know, I feel the venom, the antidote to the venom would be in your urine. So whatever you are eating, whatever you're consuming, it's going to be in the urine. It's going to get it out. It's going to help you because it's ultra filtered. Your body is the most ultra filtration system in the world, on the planet.
Wow,
You
this
know,
this is
you're
so
you're the
interesting.
most
Mhm.
advanced, the most upgraded filtration system there is, and it's
Mhm.
coming out daily, and we flush it down the toilet every day.
This
Yeah.
is actually, it's so interesting because I'm honest, I don't know so much about it, but I'm very good connected to everything, and I just
Mhm.
feel into sometimes I feel into informations, and I
Yeah.
just really feel that this is so right. Really, for me, it makes kind of sense without that I could explain it to someone. And I've also learned I don't need to explain things I don't need to use the words all the time. For
Right.
example, dry fasting, when people would ask me would you do this, and I could explain them all the benefits with words, and I can explain them why I feel better, why I feel healed. But actually, I'm sometimes a little bit tired also. I mean, I'm doing it because I do this YouTube, and I talk with people and then coach people and blah blah blah. Of course I do it, but actually I feel like, no, sometimes you just know. Also, you just know because
Mm.
we know actually. It's so interesting. And when you talk about this, for me also, like, usually what the majority is believing and saying, what they are so convinced about, I often feel this is exactly the opposite. This is exactly the opposite. Well, this is my life experience, and I really believe that the urine thing, I don't know why, but I really feel, yeah, it makes sense for me, kind of. And also that they don't that no one knows. And what you said, I think that many people would use it, but no one talks about it. it's like
No.
it's like
Right.
kind of a secret, like this kind of the secret medicine. Like,
Mhm.
don't tell them, because if everyone would know, then we losing the control, like, over this people. Or I feel this, it sounds a little bit maybe crazy, but for me, I feel this is really, like, also with fasting, I'm always asking myself, why no one knows about that, when this is a medicine for every information in um sickness, how you say, inflammations and everything. For me, fasting is a medicine, and
Mhm.
no one knows it. I mean, how can that be? This is not, come on, there's something wrong, this is what comes in my mind then. And I like it when everyone says, no, this is not, and blah blah blah. Then I would say, no, I think I want to try it, because everyone says this is not right. Then I would say, no, I want to try it. And
Right.
that's why I appreciate so much that you're talking about it, because I know also that many people could just judge. They would just judge you, and also me, and say, they're, and sometimes it's not so nice to hear. But this is what we have to do when we want to also help the people, or there are the people who are looking for this informations, and then this is so helpful.
Mhm.
And the urine thing, wow, I think it's really, really, really interesting. But can I ask you, because this, I really want to know, when did this start? Also with the first fasting, in this time when you did your first fasting, or when did this start?
So, Urin-Therapie, like plasma cycling, that started right after my first long fast. So, not
Interesting.
my first long fast, my first long dry fast. So, the
Mhm.
longest period that I ever went dry after
Ah.
my breatharian retreat with my mentor that I described to you earlier. After my breatharian retreat with him, that was when I saw a live conversation, sort of like this one,
Mhm.
down memory lane, sort of like this one with a woman named Monica Schuett. And when I saw her interview, and just I saw her light, and I saw her bliss, and just her exuberance, her exhilaration, and just her excitement for life and living, her love for life and living. And I was asking myself, like, what is giving this woman so much love and enthusiasm and energy and vibrancy and vitality. Like, what is giving this woman this? Like, where is she getting it from? Like, I want what she's having, right? I want that. Whatever that is, I want it.
Mhm.
And when she spoke about what she was doing, I said, huh? What? You know, like my mind, when she said she was drinking her own water, I was like, wait, 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 wait. You know, like my mind, I was like rubbing my temples. I was like, wait, what? What?
This is like,
So,
yeah, it's unbelievable almost, you know?
yeah,
It's really.
it, it just didn't make sense. And so I had to experiment. That's been my mode of operandi, you know, like just my mode of operations has been to experiment, to test and find out, to become your own scientist in your own laboratory of your own body. And
Mhm,
just, you know, don't just take someone else's word for it. Research it for yourself. You know, don't just take someone else's testimony. Test it
mhm,
out for yourself
mhm.
and
Yeah.
find out on an
Mhm,
experiential level, what does it feel like for you? What does it actually do in your body? What does it actually remove? You know, what does it actually give you a feeling of that you didn't have before? So that allowed me to explore even more. And here we are. That was back in 2020, you know? Yeah.
wow. And then you would just drink every morning the urine, or like all the time, or just a little bit? Is it,
Yeah.
I mean, sorry that I'm asking this stupid question, maybe, but it just, you know, I don't know. I cannot.
Mm.
I mean, Tim, he was brushing his teeth, and
Mhm.
he, one time we were like having a hike, and then he was doing the urine in his bottle,
Mm.
drinking it, and then he put it all over his body, you know,
Right.
like these kind of things. Like, could you just use it as a, let's say, as a cream for the face, that you would just
Yeah.
put it, or you have to do it, you can just leave it like that, or
There's no rules. There's no rules. So it's
just
not
what?
like you have to do this or you have to do that or this is better to do this. It's like your own intuitive learning through your own journey because
Okay.
even at the time, there was a time where Justine, I was with a partner of mine, a previous partner, and she was actually a manager at a day spa. So she managed a day spa. So you can imagine she's very into health, wellness, beauty,
Mm-hmm.
cleanliness,
Mm-hmm.
skincare. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she had all the different toners and moisturizers and shampoos and conditioners and exfoliation and all of that, right? When we started doing urine therapy together, gradually, I think in a matter of a few weeks, she gave all of her products away. All of them. She gave all of her products away and she just used her own water. She said, I have all I need. I have all I need. Yeah.
This
But it
is
was
so.
it was through her own testing and finding out. Like she had to find out for herself that she already had something that was best for her health and she didn't need to rely on anything else. Yeah.
Wow. Really inspiring. I have to look into it more, really. I really want to, because it comes in my field for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
I believe that everything comes for me when I see these kind of things, and I just want to, my intention is always to just become a better self, you know, become more connected to my highest self, let's say,
Mhm.
and more connected to me, because right now, as I'm eating again, it's really not so easy for me, I can tell. And I always also wanted to ask you something more about that, but first I want to go back to this, what you said, that your first breatharian experience. Can you just tell me how that came? So after the 3 months of fasting, what kind of fasting was it? Was it with juice water, or
Mhm.
what was it for fasting? And then how long did you eat? When came the next fasting, and when came the breath area and the 2 weeks of dry, right? Can you explain me about that?
Yeah. So, you know, during that 3 month juice feast, you know, it was juices, teas, and water. So, juice, tea, coconut water, those are pretty much, you know, my staples, the things that I go back to. And then, you know, when I was coming out of that and I was going around family at the time, and I was going back into more condensed soups, and then I started to get into solids as well again. So I went back and forth between solids. Now, I'd already seen a documentary called Earthlings. That's the one that really changed my whole life. So I never
Earthling?
went beyond Earthlings, the
Earthling.
documentary.
Oh,
So
I need
that's
to
when,
need to do this moment. Earthlings. I need to write it down. Earthlings. This is a documentary.
yeah, it's free. You can find it on
Really?
YouTube. It's narrated by Joaquin Phoenix. It's called Earthlings. Yeah,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah. One of the most transformational documentaries for me personally. For me personally, my whole life was changed when I seen what I saw on that video footage, the undisclosed locations and the hidden cameras in the slaughterhouses and the animal agriculture and the farming and just what goes on in those spaces and those places and just the different ways that we use animals for clothing, for food, for circus entertainment, for scientific experimentation, for like all of that, and just all of the things. It just walked you through that. I could never go past vegan. Like that became the line in the sand for me when it came to vegan.
Mm-hmm.
So whether I do consume or not, people always ask me, "Hey, it's been so long, since you had solid food, will you ever eat again?" And I
Mm-hmm.
tell people I've never told myself I'll never eat again, but I know where I won't go beyond. There's a line. There's a
Mm-hmm.
line that I've drawn that I won't go beyond, and that's vegan. For me, that's vegan. After I saw what I saw, it was like I couldn't unsee it. It was like I was living a lie my entire life, and it felt very, very shocking to my inner child when I saw all those images. And
Yeah.
you'll see it if you watch that documentary. I
Mm-hmm.
challenge anybody, if you have any love for animals at all, like anybody, if you've ever had any love for animals, if you've ever had any pets, or if you've ever, felt an emotional connection with animals, watch Earthlings. Just watch it one time, just
Mm-hmm.
one time. Just watch that documentary and just see how you feel. Like, just really put your hand on your heart, like, see how you feel emotionally, because it rocked my world, I'm telling you. So after I watched that, and then I was looking up I was looking up people talks, interviews. Gratefully, there's been people in society like Jasmine, Wiley Brooks, Ray Mayor, Elitam Elamin, Breatharian Yogini, Rocky Chari, Christiana El Trayan, Nicholas Pilartz. All these names that I'm naming, they're all people in the pranic fields, the breatharian fields, and this awareness of living on light or just living on lighter sources of energy. Understanding that food is only one form of energy. It's just energy. And if
Mm-hmm.
the body requires energy, you can be selective about where your energy comes from. It doesn't have to come from food. That's only one form.
Mm-hmm.
There's energy all around you at all times that you can draw from, you can
Mm-hmm.
extract, and you can absorb at all times. But it's your mind that blocks you from the understanding, from really being able to draw on sources like the sun. Your body's already doing it anyway. But if your mind thinks it's impossible to live off of that energy, then how can you actualize it in your reality if you think it's impossible? You know? So I was breaking the possibility or impossibility, the barriers of belief in my mind that were like barricading me from that reality that I realized later on is definitely viable. We can definitely live that way if we choose to, but there's
Wow.
just a lot of layers that we kind of have to go through.
Mm.
So that was my first retreat with Ellie Tom. This was in Sherman Oaks, California. And yeah, that led me into my longest dry feast, air feast, if you will. And that put me on the path to understanding, wow, I know nothing. I really don't know anything. I don't know if I've ever known anything. Like I I don't know what hunger is. Whatever it is, I've never felt it. If I've ever felt like I said I was hungry, I must have been lying, because I should be dying, right? I should be dead. If Then what is hunger? What is hunger anyway, right? Is it just a sensation or a gurgling in the stomach? Is it just toxicity moving around? Is it just the function of the body that we've equated to hunger? Like, what is this thing called hunger? So I had to admit to myself, I never knew what it was. I had to admit the air, I never knew what it was. My breath, I never knew what it was. So when I started to understand what it is, oh man, the rest is history. Here we go. Yeah.
Wow. this is like, it's so crazy, you know. I feel like, what is this? Like, how we can live so many different realities. I mean, you know, it's such a different life. It's a totally new, you living a so different reality than I would say 90% of the entire world, you know, the other people, let's say. Because I know it's so different. Also, when I'm fasting, I'm feeling, I don't know, everything is so different just, you know, and it's just so cool. I love it, but also, like, you know, this is why I also wanted to ask you, I have so many questions actually. I could talk with you like forever, but the breatharian. I mean, I did it, yeah, also, but only 7 days, right? And you did it 2 weeks. I mean, what was then after the 2 weeks? Did you felt like you could just continue? What was the feeling? I mean, how was it like on day 7 or 8 or 9 when you did not sleep anymore or whatever? Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So there definitely were days where, your sleep quota goes way down and you need a lot less sleep. So I had to get creative. I had to get creative when you're functioning on that level of a high frequency and you're used to living in a low frequency. Now
Mhm.
you're in a high frequency, so you have to really acclimate yourself to a life without all the density and without all the scarcity and the lack and all of that vibration. You're adapting yourself to no limitations, and you're exceedingly going beyond your own imagination of what you even thought was possible for you. So when you're no longer sleeping, everyone else is sleeping and you're awake. Oh my gosh, there's a lot that's at stake when you're continually awake in that vibration. You have to really understand, okay, I can use this energy, which I have in abundance. It's just energy, right? It's just
Mhm.
energy. So I have a little bit more energy now than I had before. Now I have even more. What do I do with it all? I'm usually at this hour, I'm usually sleeping, right? Everybody else is sleeping. I'm awake. What do I do now?
Mhm.
What do I
Yeah.
do now? Right?
Mhm.
So if you don't use the energy for something constructive or something productive,
Mhm.
it usually tends towards the destructive. And some people will even go as far as to consume and eat just to put themselves back to sleep because it's so uncomfortable to be awake for so
Uh-huh.
long. They're not used
Exactly.
to it.
Yeah.
So Ellie
Yeah.
Tom was telling us, our teacher was explaining that to us. And I'm glad that he showed us that because he was letting us know years ago. He said, be careful what you wish for. Yeah, like, be careful, because you might not like it. He was like, breatharianism, this is not for everybody. You might not like it,
Mm.
you might not like it. Like if you're used to, your environment, circle of friends, if you're used to being down when they're down, being up when they're up, consuming what they consume, all of that stuff, when you when things are different, it gets very different and it gets trippy. It's almost like a psychedelic, but you're in a waking life. It's like a waking dream. Your life becomes very lucid, very psychedelic,
Mhm.
very vivid. When you do
Mhm.
have dreams, they can become very, very lucid, very psychedelic, very, very vivid, very real. Like you're
Mhm.
in a parallel reality that is happening concurrent with this reality. And you're like living two lives in one life. It's amazing. And the energy's raising. So what I started to do, I started to have to use the energy for, well, for exercise, for working out. So you should
Really?
be fit. You have the energy to be fit, so you should be physically fit if you have the energy. What else are you going to do with the energy, right? I used it for creation, for doing things like this, for having talks and conversations, for video creation, for
Mhm.
content creation. I use that energy. Then I learned how not to abuse that energy. So I learned how to use that energy. Also, the sexual energy, just the Kundalini rising, allowing it to come up instead of going out the other side.
Ah.
I learned
Yeah.
how to maintain and retain. We call that retention, right? So that was like I stumbled upon the invention of semen retention all of a sudden, right? Because I'm fasting, I'm doing all this stuff that's long lasting. I'm in the frequency of fasting. I might as well not have the depletion of my secretions, right? you know, I need to hold on to my secretions. I don't want that depletion, right? I want to keep that. I want to reserve that and conserve that so that can serve the highest purpose. So
I
it's like everything that used to go down to the lower three chakras, Justine, everything that
ah,
used to go down to the, you know,
uh-huh.
to the sacral, to the, you know, the root and all the way out that primal energy, that primal instinct of
Mhm,
just, you know, our biological imperative to, you know, have food. That
mm,
became my food. Then, you know, dancing, just the ecstatic dance, you know, having a dance dinner, that became my food, right? A reading refreshment, that was food. A sunset supper, that was food, right?
true, true.
Energy edibles, working with qigong and tai chi, that became my new nourishment. That became my food and my nutritional, you know, capabilities. So prana provisions, you know, all of that stuff. It's like you find a new lover because for so long, like you said, food was my lover, right? The fettuccine, the angel hair, the linguine. I was in love. I was in love with the pasta. I was in love with lasagna.
True,
I was in
true,
love with the, you know, with the sushi. I was in love. That's a relationship.
true,
So
you're right.
when you're cutting the energetic cords of a relationship, be it with a person, a significant other, or an item, a substance, right? Versus like whether it's cocaine or a cake, a birthday cake, right? Cocaine or cupcakes, it doesn't matter. It's still an addiction, you know? It's something that we're tied to. It's like we're tied to this thing, and we only realize when we're no longer with it. Like when we're without it, that's when we understand. You know, you feel how much a pull it has over you when you no longer have it in your system. So I tell
Mhm,
people like out of, you know, out of body, out of mind. Like if it's not in my body, it's not on my mind. You know, this is how you can start to walk past those same items that you could never walk past before in the grocery store. It used to be they were pulling at you, right? Pulling at you, telling you, you know, there was a gravitational pull towards this section, gravitational pull towards that section. The ability to just walk past it and to be completely detached without desire, there's no price. You can't put a price on that. You know, that's priceless.
mhm. Wow.
Priceless. So that's like a level of freedom. It goes beyond discipline. It's pure detachment because there's no pull. There is no pull. You don't
Mm.
have to maintain discipline. You don't have to resist. There's no resistance.
Ah,
You know, it's just completely it's off of you. So, yeah, this is how I can be around my family now and enjoy Thanksgiving with my family and just have, you know, a cup of orange juice or just have whatever while my family is eating everything is because
mm,
of the things that we've gone through. Yeah.
wow, this is so man. Yeah, I feel really. Oh, fuck. I'm like in this. Because it's so amazing. I really, when I hear it, it is. I want it also. I really feel like I want to,
It's
but I
already
still like.
yours.
Yeah,
It's
but
already yours. Yeah,
it's
it's
crazy. I'm still like a victim of this food industry.
no, don't
I
say
feel.
that. Don't say you're a victim. Don't claim it. Don't
Ah,
claim it.
you're right. I should not
Yeah.
say that because I decided then. Yeah, I just feel. It's calling me, and then I have my fasting periods, and then I'm like, why I don't keep my why I'm not following this path, because I know it's gonna happen, but why I cannot, this resistance and this attachment,
Yeah.
why it's there still, why?
Well, you know, for one of the things is environment. So one of the things is, you know, if we're in the midst of an environment that is not conducive to the level of conductivity that we desire or we envision for our lives, like you can see it in your when you can see it in your mind, you will hold it in your hand. That's a law of like the law of attraction, you know,
Yeah,
manifestation. You have to see it
yeah.
here first before you can
Mm,
hold it. So we envision like what we want. And when the why is strong, you can accomplish any how. There's
mm,
no how that will not be accomplished when the why is strong. If you have a strong enough why, it's already done. You know, first you make the decision. The decision is like, like an incision, like a doctor makes an incision, like a surgeon, right? So it comes from that word cut. So to decide is to cut off something else. When you decided this, you've cut off that, right? That's a decision. So you've cut something off to do something else. It's a sacrifice. You're saying no, but you're also saying yes. So to say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. You decide what you're saying yes to. We're all deciding at all times of all the, all hours of the day, we're making decisions all the time. So you choose this decision over that decision. Then there's the commitment. Commitment says, okay, come what may. Come what may. I'm going to find out. We're just going to find out. I'm going to deviate from the mass programming of everybody else, that's around me in this environment. Let's see what happens when we deviate. I'm going to commit, come what may, for a certain duration, for a certain amount of time. Let's find out. And you've already done this. You've already done it with your cocoa feasting, your water feasting. And by the way, you've inspired so many people. You have no idea, Justine, how many people you have inspired with your journey alone. Even just the talk that we had last time, how many people came to me and was like, oh my gosh, she made me want to do a cocoa fast. Like she made me want to do this. She made me want to do that. Justine's story was so powerful. I really relate to her. You've already inspired so many people, and the ripples, they continue to go out. So you have no idea how many lives you're changing just by living your own authentic truth. So commitment says, come what may, I'm going to go in this direction. I've decided. Now I'm going to commit. Then the last thing is resolve. Resolve, whew, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting chills. Resolve says it's done. When you resolve, that little word resolve, that means it's done. It's done up here, so it's done out there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's already done. If you go back and forth, in and out, up and down, it doesn't matter. There's no shame. There's no blame. None of those games, because it's already done. It's already done. So even if you feel like there's a setback, it's not in the way. It's on the way.
Oh.
Because you now know where you're going. You know where you're going. It doesn't matter. If you stumble, you can get back up. Keep going. You know where you're going. A lot of people in the world, myself included, for many years, I had no idea where I was going. Somebody asked Aristotle, the philosophers, Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle. Somebody was asking Aristotle, how does one make it to Mount Olympus? How does somebody make it to Mount Olympus? And Aristotle said something to the effect of, by simply ensuring that each step you take is in the direction of Mount Olympus. How can you not make it there? You're going you can see it in the distance. It's there. You see it. Well, just keep going.
Yeah,
right?
but
Just
yeah,
keep
yeah, yeah.
walking.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, actually, yeah, you're right. It's the trust, right? Because I know in the same, I mean, I'm manifestation coach, yeah. So I help people really to manifest their things. And I know, for example, if you have it in your mind and you really know that you want it, it's already there. It's just the matter of time, and even it's not really this. It's just a matter of the moment or the feeling, what you're gonna feel, and you're gonna attract it and you resonate with it. But it's already there. It's already there. It's all there. Because I always say there's really no future. There's really no past. I mean, how? How is it possible to have a past or future when everything is just here right now, right? I mean, even when you would think about the future, how can you think about the future when you think right now? I mean, you know what I mean? It's not even possible to think in future. I mean, you can just think here and now. So, I mean, this is like, yeah, this is an illusion. This is actually an illusion. And I know exactly what you mean. But my biggest enemy is my frustration. I didn't know if I shared it with you last time, but my frustration, and my head, I'm in my mind, sometimes I'm just so in my mind and my thoughts, and I have moments where I forget things also, and then I I want it now. I want to feel already free from that. This is just my thought. I'm just sharing my thought, what's happening in this kind of moments, right? Then I see the food and I know, they're both sides. I want it because it makes me feel something.
Right.
And then the same, I don't want it because the longer feeling what I have when I don't have it, it's actually more peaceful and more aligned. But
Right.
this fast pleasure, this fast pleasure, what we all deal with, I mean, it's about whatever, right? It's about any, let's say, addiction, like if it's drugs and sex and games and food, this is all the fast pleasure. And
Yeah.
I'm still like, let's say I don't want to manifest it, but try to explain what I feel in the moment, and then in the moment feel really, oh fuck, I'm a victim of this fast pleasure. But I know I want this long thing, I want this long.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
wondering how to just become detached from that in the moment. I'm so conscious about it, I'm sitting there very conscious. It's not that I don't know about it and I just eat. No, I sit there very conscious, thinking about it and feeling into it, and like, okay,
Yeah.
like, do I get the cake now?
Right.
And
Right.
then, yeah, but or no, but I feel like the other way, it's like this is more me. I feel more authentic. I feel when I'm fasting, I feel this is really me. This is my real Justine, my real me. Let's say, if I can say I'm Justine, but as I'm having this human experience now in the body, let's say I call myself I'm Justine, okay, or that I identify myself with that, and then I feel like, but this is my real self. And the other thing, this is not really me. I'm feeling confused sometimes with that, and I'm wondering, okay, what is it? I'm just
Right.
watching it, and then do I have to make a decision now, or am I not ready now? Is there time to be ready? Oh, it's a decision. I'm ready when I decide to be. And I'm playing with these kind of thoughts. It's many thoughts coming together. I could tell 100 of thoughts about this, right? Yeah, and I'm wondering that it's calling me so much, and sometimes I'm confused if it's just my mind that it's calling me to do it again. The fasting thing, because I feel so amazing with that, or is it just also just the thought, or it's a path, or you know I mean, that gets a little bit confused, but ah, yeah,
I
too
love
many
it.
thoughts about it.
No, I love it. I love it. Just like, thank you. This is what I meant in the beginning when I love your authentic expression. I love your vulnerability. I love your openness and just your ability to just really go deep within and just pull from your heart, like everything that is actually resonating with inside you, like inside you. We can feel all of this. Everybody that's watching this right now, I'm sure, are connecting with you on that level. They can feel what you're feeling because it's the humanness, it's the honesty. It's like, it's just that, like this flesh, like all of this stuff. There's so many wants and needs and desires and cravings and yearnings and burnings for all of these things that we experience in this reality. And it's not to say that we're not here to experience, but it's also to understand there are so many experiences. There's more than just one experience. For myself, the experience of all the food that I used to experience, I had that experience for so long that I'm like, at this stage in my life, I'm good. I'm good with that experience. Like, I've had that experience enough times to know where it leads, to
Mm-hmm.
know where it lands me. And then back what you were saying with the pleasure and pain balance, on the seesaw of pleasure and pain, on the balance beam tipping the scales of, okay, this gives me pleasure, but I know that it's fleeting pleasure. I know it's instant. I know if I eat this, I'm going to feel a certain sensation. It's going to send electrical signals to my brain. It's going to tell me this is delicious, this is delightful, this is scrumptious, that this is just everything, all the ingredients that went into this thing. I'm going to experience all that, and it's going to give me a feeling of safety, a feeling of security, a feeling of just these feelings, right? These feel good chemicals this dopamine is going to go off and I'm just going to get it immediately. I don't have to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Exactly.
this
You just get it. You can just take it. The easy, the fast
immediately.
feeling, what we're
Yeah.
seeking for, what we would deserve or earn when we would just create something from more investment, you know, more
Right.
energy investment, let's say, or I don't know how to call it, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
So on the other hand, the pain. Now, when I started to go up against pain was when I stretched myself so far away. So when I went, during that long dry period where we were just going long days with nothing, I got to the point where I realized, oh, wait a minute. The apple was not giving me life, right? And not even the apple juice was giving me life. Like what is giving me life? You know? Like
The
what is
feeling.
actually
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
what is this? So I had the feeling that was so palpable, like throughout this whole process, my breath has still been going in and out of my body. And I've been working with energy, just really expanding to these frequencies. And I was like, wait, am I just energy? This is just energy. Like I'm not, you know, I am not a body. I live in a body, This body is not me, but it is mine, you know? So it was like, I am the energy that is powering this vessel. No one, Justine, no one with all the scripture, all the texts, all the scientific breakdowns and terminology and teachings and reachings and preachings, nobody could have told me better than I realized myself that I am like the energy. You are a spirit having a human experience. We've heard it so many times, it sounds so cliche, right? That we are a spirit having a human experience. We are not the body, we live in the body. We are the energy that's powering this vessel. When I felt that, when I actually felt what that means, it broke everything. It broke everything. It broke nutrition, vitamins, minerals, nourishment, like everything broke, it shattered. It was like it took me all the way down to zero. Zero. And then when I reintroduced physical matter and densities back into my body, and my body had to now go through the whole process again of integrating it back into the vessel, digesting it again, and functioning again on that level, I started writing down in my journal all the symptoms, all the pain, the headaches that came back, the bloating that came back, the inflammation that came back, the heartburn that came back, the confusion that came back, the brain fog that came back,
Oh
all of
yeah.
this pain that came back. And then
Yeah.
I weighed the two states on the balancing beam, like, okay, do I want this
Oh yeah.
or do I want that? Like, okay, if I have this will continue. But then if I have this, then this will continue,
Yeah,
right?
you're so
It's,
smart. You're right. I mean, what the fuck?
I
That's
mean,
so
it just,
true.
yeah. So it's like we have to understand that it's a choice, but it's when we make it so hard, that's what kind of pulls us back. It's understanding it's easy. It's just as easy to do it as it is not to do it, and that's the hard part. The hard part is it's all easy, but it's just easy to do and it's easy not to do. That's the
Wow.
hard part.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, you're right. Oh God. Okay, I have two questions.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I have like way more questions, but oh my God, I have so many questions. Okay, first
Okay.
question, definitely. Okay, one time, okay, what I really want to know is also, I want just to know not if it's right or wrong, or is it the true or not. I want really to know what do you think about it. So why is it that we humans, we wanted this experience, that we have food. I mean, first was food pure, and then it became like, like something else. Let's say nowadays the food what we have, but why we wanted really to have this experience with eating, the digest system what we had. I mean, we would not need it actually, like this, all the things why we wanted to have this experience. And the second question is also because I don't want to forget it. That's why I say it. It's like some people would just pray and give food, a specific energy when they're eating. So what's happening when you would pray before you eat and you just would give it attention to the food? How does this works for the body? Because actually everything is just energy. So yeah, I'm wondering about that.
Right. These are phenomenal questions. Once again, like seriously, you know, like Jesus Christ, like this is awesome where you're getting these questions. And I love how just thought provoking, how profound and philosophical it really gets into the debate of why do we have a digestive system? You know,
Uh-huh.
why do we have a liver? Why do we have the gallbladder, the stomach, the spleen, the pancreas, the
Uh-huh.
kidneys? Why do we have all of these things, right?
Yes.
Why would we need them? You know, why would we need teeth if we weren't to chew? Like, why would we need all this stuff?
Uh-huh.
And I don't proclaim to know any of that. I don't proclaim to know why we have all of these things, but I also don't proclaim to know that they are what we think they are.
Mhm.
Like they're only used for the things that we think they are. Like
Ah,
when
okay.
when I started to breathe, the way that my body started to breathe, not just my lungs, but when
Mhm.
you go through a period of what some might call deprivation or a period of sensation beyond the stimulation of food, when you go beyond for a certain amount of time, your body changes.
Mhm.
Like my stomach, my everything, my lungs, my body, it felt like my organs were reweaving. I can't go, you know, and find evidence. Like nobody was taking a camera down my
Mhm.
esophagus and looking at the lining of, you know, everything. Like no one was able to look inside my body at the time and find physical evidence of it changing and reweaving and putting itself back together. But it felt like it was putting itself back together to
Yeah.
accommodate for
Mhm.
what it wasn't receiving
Mhm.
so that it could still receive anyway.
Mhm.
It was like my body was making a vital adjustment
Mhm.
in order to receive the energy
Mhm.
to continue thriving
Mhm.
instead of just surviving on what I was surviving on. Now I was thriving on another source, another form. And it was
Mhm.
just another experience. So when people are like, oh, well, should I not be eating? I'm like, it's an experience. If you want that experience, you can have that experience. It's not right or wrong to eat, but it's an experience.
Exactly. And do
So,
you
so
yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
yeah. No, no, yeah. What you want
Yeah.
to say?
So when I was like, when I was feeling my lungs were operating differently and my skin was now breathing, I had never felt my skin breathe before, ever. Never. In all my years, at the time I was like 28, 29. In all my years, I had never felt that sensitive for the
Mm.
pores in my body. Every pore in my body, it felt like it was drinking the atmosphere.
Mm.
And it felt like I was moving my hand through the atmosphere and I could feel the moisture in the air. And that had never happened before.
Mm.
Never. Like I had never been sensitive enough to feel the air the way I felt the air when I had gone without everything. Even without juice. Like now I have juice and I'm still not as sensitive as I was
Mm.
when with nothing at all.
Mm.
With
Wow.
nothing at all, it was like my body was configuring its settings to accommodate for that frequency. It was like, okay, we're here now.
Mm.
We were here, but now we're here. So
Mm.
we have to adjust to maintain this, to sustain this. We have to be different now.
Mm.
Then when I invited food back into my body, it was almost as if at first my body didn't know how to function. It was like my body was confused. It was like, what are you doing? We just went through all of that detox and now you're going to put this back. Now we have to work again,
Mm.
right? Now we have to figure this out again. So that showed me that not only was I making the vital adjustment towards prana or towards air or towards nourishment from other sources, but that eating itself, which some might call just a habit, like smoking or drinking, eating is just a habit,
Mhm.
that was also an adjustment that I had already made and that I had continued since I was a baby, since I was a toddler. I just
Mhm.
continued.
Mhm.
So if I wanted to go back to that I had to make another adjustment. So there were times where I thought I was going to die. Justine, as I'm looking at you,
Really?
I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to have to call the emergency room and maybe they might not make it in time because it felt like something was lodged in my chest, like in my solar plexus. It wouldn't go down. And this was something normal that I used to just
But
easily digest. It felt like it was stuck. It got
but
stuck.
but
And
when was it?
this was when I started eating again. This
Oh,
was when like after I was long like without food for a long time. When I tried to eat again, it was like no. My body was like no, and so it was like my world started getting darker and darker. I can only explain it just on the feeling. The feeling that I had during that time was like I messed up. I felt like I messed up.
oh damn! You thought you're
Yeah,
gonna now you are not able to digest anymore, and
it wasn't going down. It wasn't going down like that.
what did
So
you do then?
I just prayed. I prayed. I was like, God, please, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Like there's more to do. I got more. I want to do more things. I'm not ready to go now. So like, that was a spiritual moment where I was just like, okay, I had to get in tune. I was like, okay, I messed up. If I'm supposed to go this way, then I'll go this way. So that was me embracing that calling. It was already a soul calling, but I had to go in and out to feel the contrast and to
Yeah,
understand my
yeah,
body had already made a shift. It had already made a change.
yeah.
I can go back, but if I
Mhm.
do go back now at this stage, if I go back now, it's going to be painful.
Oh my God.
But I can go back if I
Fuck.
want to. It's not like I can never go back, but it's going to be painful because I've already gone this far.
Oh my
So
God.
it's like
Yeah.
I might as well keep going,
Oh my
right?
God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fuck, I just resonate with that with my it's crazy because it's a little bit different with me, but a little bit similar. You
Yeah.
remember the last time when we had our interview? By the way, guys, for everyone who's watching this, you can see this interview in Jerome's Instagram. It's and in my Instagram, it's actually there. Um, so when we talked about, and that was one day after my dry fasting, you know what I felt there? I felt I start drinking again, and then I
Mhm.
did a water, not a salt flush,
Mhm.
salt because I felt like I need to clean my the name, the English name for that what I need to clean after the
You did
fast.
it clean it out with a salt flush, you said?
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
cleaning it out? Okay.
everything, clean it out. And you know what happened then? And then I start drinking again, and I think I was eating something with salt then
Mhm.
later, and I swear I felt like I get maybe 5 kilo or more water weight in my body. Like from one to the other moment, I felt I got so much water weight. It felt
Mhm.
so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt so uncomfortable that never happened before.
Right,
Never.
right.
And I did already so many dry fastings before. So various. Yeah, and then I felt like also eating. I felt like even when I was drinking, I felt so full. I felt
Mhm.
like this is way too much for my body. My
Yeah.
body, he doesn't want to have all this sleep. Even drinking was like I would have a meal. I
Mhm.
really felt like drinking was having a meal. And then I start like, fuck, what is this? And then I start eating, like I try to eat, and I felt all the time when I was eating, it could be maybe just a half banana or a banana.
Mhm.
I would just be full. I would
Mhm.
have like 2 spoons of my meal, and I'm really like, I could stop eating now. I'm full. But I
Yeah,
just keep doing eating because my mind, you know, come on, you need to eat this whole dish now. I mean, you are
that's it.
sitting here in a restaurant,
That's
because I
it.
mostly eat in a restaurant here in Thailand. Everything is cheap. You go out eating all the
That's
time with
it.
friends. And this is actually the thing to do here, going to eat, yeah. And then it was really not so easy for me this time after my dry fasting to integrate.
Mhm.
Really. Like I felt I was totally in a different sphere, like in a different world, in a different reality. And then I start eating again, and I felt like I feel so disconnected. I feel
Mhm.
it doesn't feel like before. I don't like it. And then with the food, I was overwhelmed with all these food. I don't know what to eat. Nothing. I don't really want to eat anymore. It was also like me so confused, you know, because of in one time I want to eat because I told you the social life expect also, but then my body changed. I really felt like 2 seconds right now. I really felt like no, because I felt also the last my first feel that I could have gone way more further. I felt, but I was a little bit not secure that not sleeping anymore. My most struggle is that I'm not able to sleep anymore. And I'm also not able to sit in front of the computer. I felt really like I just want to be in nature, you know. So and I felt like I don't know, this is also not fulfilling kind of. So I was a little bit in the struggle, you know. This was not the right thing to do, I felt, but also this was even worse than to start drinking again. But it was so interesting because I believe, because some people would say then, look what you're doing there, you should not do this. So I think, no, this is amazing because it really changed something, and I believe even when it seems like it's not good and it makes me struggle, but I know, I just know this is how I know other things also intuitionally, that this is something very good. Maybe not for the first look, you know, maybe now I'm thinking, fuck, what is this? But later I will know why. You know, and I'm really trusting the process. But like you said, that was not good. And my body communicated with me and it really shows me, no, you was already there, you was already doing so well, you was ready from that. Maybe another experience was waiting for me. I felt like that, but I just, you know, stopped it because of fear.
Yeah.
And then I got the crypto, you know, then I got the result, and that was not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Was really a little
You
bit.
said it. You said it, Justine. Like, you put it simple and plain, and it's so relatable. Like, what you're saying is so relatable on every level, just a human level, because it's the mind. Like you said, it's the mind. Like, whatever the fear that resides, you know, when we're afraid of whatever we're afraid of, going beyond, or even afraid of, you know, that power. Like, you can feel something you've never felt before. And I was used to being sedated. Like, I was used to being put down. I was used to eating late at night, very late at night. So I was used to just being out, you know, not even dreaming, really, just not just waking up just from a comatose state, just collapsing and just waking up, right, with my alarm clock and going to work. I was used to that. So I wasn't used to having all of this energy and vibrancy coming from some place that wasn't a Red Bull or wasn't a Monster or wasn't a Starbucks coffee. I wasn't used to having energy on that level. So when it comes to what some people will talk about, the stomach, you know, shrinking back, when the stomach sort of shrinks back to its original state, you know, where now you can do a lot more with less. You know, now a little goes a long way on just a little bit because the stomach has now shrunk back. So there's been people, Justine, that, you know, have been very, you know, obese. If you could imagine somebody morbidly obese, you know, having a body mass index of like over 60, just hundreds of pounds. And then they go through a surgical operation to get their body reduced and to reduce their stomach, to reduce their body. Everything reduces, right? But their mind has not changed. So their mental image of themselves, right? Their self-image, their self-esteem, their self-confidence, their self-worthiness, their self-concept, everything in the mind is the same, but now their body has changed. Through a surgical procedure, it's been reduced back. But since the mind is the same, they're trying to eat like they used to, but they can't because the stomach is now shrunk. So now they're battling with the mind. So there's no coherency. So there has to be like a coherency and alignment with the mind, and the body has to come in alignment to where your mind and your body are now in one accord. Like you know this is for you, and your body already knows what it can do, right? So it's like there's no reason to chew. You know what you can do, right? There's no reason to chew. You've already gone through, right? You're done. You know, you've already won. You're done. You've already won. So these are just like the beginning stages. You know, when you finally like get your mind and your body in one accord, and there's no fighting it, there's no resistance, there's total surrender and flow, then it's just like, where do we go? You
Mm.
know? You allow it to flow. You're spreading your wings and just allowing whatever to take place, instead of just kind of placing that constraint versus, the fear that you might have, like, but the fear of being different, the fear of being alone, the
Yeah.
societal fear of being outcast, being ostracized, being looked at like an alien from the rest of your social group. Like, how are they
Mhm.
going to see me? They
Mm.
feel guilty when they're eating around me. I'm not eating, they're eating. There's a guilt there, remedying that, like rectifying that, reconciling with these things. There's a lot of levels and a lot of layers. So even in
Exactly.
one of my books that I published, The Psychology of the Soul, one of my books, we go through that and we talk about the mind and how the mind is so big. We just don't realize how much is wrapped up in
Mhm.
the mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the mind is creating your whole world,
Yeah.
everything. It's your thoughts. That's why I'm working with the people with their thoughts, and
Hmm.
they're really like subconscious mind, and where it
Yeah.
comes from, and that really everything what we believe just comes from our mother, our ancestors. We
Mm.
never really question if it's the truth or not. It's just what they thought about how the world looks like or how the world works, and we
Right.
just take the same thoughts. And now as we are in the, I feel really the transformation is gonna happening in this world,
Mm.
because I believe that everything what I see around me is just a reflection of my world. And
Mm.
I don't know why I am now in this transformation, but as I am in this transformation right now, I see the transformation outside in my world. So of
Mm.
course, in my life, everything is transforming. Everyone becomes more aware.
Mm.
Everything is shifting. Everyone becomes more conscious. This is actually so interesting. Sometimes I'm questioning myself, why is it like that? And is it in every life what we live? Is it like the same that we born in some unconscious, you know,
Mm.
environment, and then we become conscious, and then we see that everything changes, and this is what the life experience is about? You know
Mm.
what I'm meaning when I'm saying this? Because I'm wondering what means to be alive in this human body. Is it always the same? That
Mm.
we just from the unconsciousness to the consciousness, and then we see that everything is just transforming because we are transforming. You know
Mm.
what I'm meaning? This is
Mhm.
like what I'm asking myself sometimes, because it's so interesting actually. And the and the fasting, I mean, yeah, for me it's the key. I mean, I don't know if other people also agree with it, but for me it's like really the key to all the questions what I have.
Mm.
When I'm fasting, I just know the answers. And for some people it would be vipassana, just silence and hearing their thoughts. But it's also just thoughts and answers. And I believe that we working like, let's say, what is easier for other people to understand, it's like when you watch the AI, right?
Mhm.
Um, how AI works, or algorithm, the
Mhm.
algorithm, you
Mhm.
know how it works, how we work, right? We put our thought on something and it's growing, and
Right.
we ask a question and we get the answer if we
Right.
are aware and conscious and asking the right questions. Because
Mhm.
also with the AI, you could Google some bullshit what doesn't make any sense, maybe to up level your life, or you could ask a question what
Mhm.
would change your life forever,
Mhm.
because you get informations and you would just live the information, and then everything around you would change. And I see the same with our thoughts and how
Mhm.
the world looks like. And this is the best example, I feel. And yeah,
Mhm.
for me, I believe fasting is the key, but I don't know if it's a universal key. Maybe it's just in my world. But
Mhm.
it's very interesting that I found this actually to transform so much, and I'm so curious what's happening. And I'm wondering how the path is so different, that you could
Mhm.
just fast and you did it like such a long time, and then you just was already into it. And for me it took so many years, like so many years, and it's like baby steps, I feel. You know, I started with 2 weeks fasting. Then later, some years later, I started with 4 weeks fasting. Then I do another 2 week fasting, maybe 10-day fasting, maybe 1 week, then another 4 week fast. You know, it was like this. It's like such a long journey, because I feel like there's something inside of me. They just want to hold on this social life, because you know what is one of my biggest fears also, that I'm not able to really fully enjoy spending time with family and friends when they're eating, that I always feel a little bit, I want to be also a part of them, and I want to give up this thought, I want to let it die. And also like finding a partner. I'm not having a partner now, but I want to have a partner one day. But the thing is, how can I do to be with someone? And then I really, this is my thought. Imagine this. This is crazy. My thought would be, can he really enjoy life with me when he needs to eat alone all the time? Because I know that the most beautiful thing for the most of the people is going to eat, to get food together. And this is really a fear of me. And I know fear is an illusion, because it probably will never happen this way. But is it what holds me maybe back? Maybe it's the excuse to not go this path, because of this illusion of fear, what could come, but would probably never come. But do you understand what I'm meaning when I'm thinking about that?
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it was only through, and thank you, Justine. Like, thank you for talking about this, because you're touching on so many levels that not only me, but I know so many people who are listening to you now and who will be listening to you when they watch this again. You're touching on so many levels that really just appeal to like our deep innermost desire of human connection, you know, just the human connection, to have that reflection and to feel the connection with someone else, from another being, you know, whether people call it, you know, that divine counterpart, or that twin flame, or the soul mate, or whatever that connection is that we want to feel with somebody. Do we feel that completeness, you know, if we are not doing the same things, if we're not on the same path, if we're heading in different directions? Will we have that a separation? Will there be a separation? Will it be enough? You know? So I went through a period of isolation, and that's what I told you when the monks had me in their property on Lake Elsinore, overlooking the lake in that big mansion, you know, in that big house on the hill. I mean, that was one of the perfect opportunities to get to know myself, to really meditate, to really reflect, to introspect, to really journal, to find out what is inside and reside with me, just with me. I had to find so much solace in my own solitude and my silence. And I pretty much did my own personal vipassana on that mountain, because there was nobody else in there. I was just the only one. I had no responsibilities. I had no pets, right? I had no children. I still have no children. I had no partner at the time. So it was just me, myself, and I up there on that mountain. And through that period of time, getting adjusted to just me, myself, and I, that allowed me to have so much self-love, like so much self-love that I had never had for myself before. That it was like I feel I divinely orchestrated. There was like it was like something went out and it found someone that mirrored that self-love, and it brought us together. Because as soon as I came out and I came back to Texas, I met someone who I still know today. We're still very good friends, but I attracted a relationship right after that period of
Really?
isolation. A relationship came to me because I was done. I was done. I wasn't, I was not even seeking a relationship. I was so far. I can
Yeah.
send you the video. I'll send you the video of
Wow.
when we found each other, because I still have the video. But
Wow.
I had never loved myself that way before, in that way. That
Wow.
it was just so, it was so high, that this is what they told me. These weren't my words. They said that they saw my light. She can see auras. She can see energy. She said my light was beaming for miles. This is what she said. And
Yeah.
she came to me, and she gave me all her information. She knew I was leaving. Somehow she knew I was leaving. I don't know, her spiritual guides or somebody told her I was leaving. Justine,
Wow.
she gave me her name, her number, and her email address. She gave them all to me on a piece of paper, like she did not want to lose contact. And we had a relationship. And that was the lady I told you that I was with when we were both doing urine therapy together. That was the relationship.
Oh, wow.
So I attracted a relationship
True.
only when I had no desire for a relationship.
Wow.
It came to me when I was no longer seeking it. I was like, I was content to go the rest of my life alone. That's how peaceful I was. That's how content I was. I was content. I was like, if
Wow.
this is my path, this is my path. And the moment I said, I'm content, I'm good, somebody came into my life, you know, like it was out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. That's the best story, because this is really the power of letting go.
Yeah.
To just can you say surrender how it is, just to everything is just so perfect. I'm just so happy. I have these moments also very often when I'm fasting. I'm honest. I don't look for anything in the outside. You know what was very interesting? I just realized it. Always when I was fasting, well, I was never fasting too crazy long, but I think I was never intimate with someone. Like, you know, like really intimate with someone and having sex. I think I never had it when I was fasting. I don't know. And then I was wondering, really, that was also a question. I I thought, if I'm fasting, let's say fasting, if I would just not eating anymore, maybe I would never have sex again in my entire life. And that's a little bit, you know what I mean? It's okay, it's cool, because I'm so happy, you know, I don't need anything from the outside. But also that would, I don't know if I want that, you know?
Oh, so you can have whatever you want. So this is another thing. This is another thing. So we haven't even gone to wait. I think we did actually last time we went into the sexual energy, right? We
Yes.
talked about sexual energy. So
With the
you
dry
can
fasting. With the dry fasting.
both. Yeah,
Also.
you can have both if you want. It's there was a difference of energy that I had to adopt. So with the transmutation and the relations, like I said before, the depletion of the secretion, right? Instead of that, I was retaining the energy, so I was still gaining the energy. So even though I can be sexually active, you know, it's still functioning, it's still there, but you're more aware.
Ah.
It's still there, but you're more aware now. Before, when I was frivolously
Ah.
giving away my sexual energy, when I was just letting it go, I was
Ah.
not aware. I was so unaware.
Okay, I understand.
Now, with a partner, you can still be aware. That was leading me into tantra and everything else. So it's leading me into like if you've ever read Mantak Chia and the Tao, like the art of tantric lovemaking, or the sexual energy, or that divine union that you can have without releasing, you know, so you can be increasing without releasing. I'm talking more from the masculine because, you know, I'm in the masculine, but you know, there's also a feminine portion of that as well. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely, and we were both at the time, we were both technically fasting. People would call it fasting. The one I was with, you know, last year, we were, you know, she was only on water for like 2 weeks. I think I only seen her drink a gallon of distilled water for the week that I was with her, and
Ah,
everything's online. Yeah,
okay.
everything's online. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah, maybe you are right. Maybe it's also that you are just, because I mean, it was never like I was not doing fasting like forever, you know. But
yeah,
yeah, maybe it would be just that I would be aware and not needed with, I would be very choose, you know, I would really choose with who I would be with, maybe.
yeah,
No.
because your energy, it becomes a lot more sensitive. You
So
become a
maybe,
lot more selective when you're more
exactly.
protective. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I would just choose better. Ah, that's right. Okay, that's good that I don't have to worry about that.
You're like,
Okay, good. I can do it. I can do it now. Now I'm ready. Now I can go all in.
oh my God. Yeah, there's no limits. The only limitation is our imagination. That's the
You're
only
right.
limitation. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, oh my God, it's so interesting. You know, I just see, you know what I also want to mention is maybe you see it also like this, but I really, really see that with the fasting, I was imagine if everyone would do it, the whole world would not need to eat again. We don't need to steal all sources from the planet Earth. Imagine what for world we would have. It
Mm,
would be incredible. There would
mm,
be the paradise on planet Earth if no one would need really to eat that
mm,
much, let's say. Not even not to eat, okay, better not to eat anything. That would be even super cool. But just to eat little, oh my
mhm,
God, every problem what we have now would not exist.
mm,
Nothing, no problem, because no one would have the need to work that much to gain that much money, because you don't need that much anymore. And we would imagine we would not need to eat. I
right.
mean, there would be such a release. Like we would be so free. We would feel so free. And with that feeling of freedom, we would just manifest freedom in the entire world, because it's a manifestation. I think everything comes from within, right? And if everyone would just feel, oh, I'm free, I don't need anything from the outside,
Yeah.
let's say, or I don't need anything that much. Oh my God, it would be a manifestation in the entire planet
Mhm,
together, that we would just having a free life. And all the animals also. When you mention about animals, you know what I was also watching, what I'm curious. I could jump from one topic to the other. Sorry, but it's um, like so many people now went from vegan. I don't know if it's a trend or whatever it is, from vegan to eating meat again. I
mm,
see this a lot. I don't know what's going on there. Like people who were vegan like 10 years or something, they start eating meat again. And
mhm,
I don't want to blame all these people who are eating meat. I just want to say, because I'm eating meat also sometimes, but I want to say that the amount of it's really so critical. The amount of what we eat, because that's why the they suffer, right? If it would more natural, like many years ago, no one would suffer. But right now, everyone is suffering because it's over consuming. If it's animals, but also different food, because people need to work as a slave to get all these amounts of food what we don't need. You know what I'm meaning? Even if it's working with food products, people on farms and whatever. Yeah, I don't know, but also like just work. And yeah, I just see that's why I think the for me the fasting has such a, for me it's a solution for everything, to be honest.
mm,
I would just say that if everyone would understand what that it's possible to eat less or not eat, we would not have any problems in this world anymore, even not diseases, because there's no diseases coming from most, I think mostly from food they come, or from stress, and we would
yeah,
not have stress anymore and no food. It's crazy, you know what I'm meaning? It's a fucking solution for everything. Like,
mm,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear
And
you. I'm with.
yeah, and you're living this already. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Justine. Like everything that you say is hitting, on all levels. Yeah.
So I'm really curious what we're gonna manifest with
Well,
that understanding. I hope people will understand about it a little bit more. Just consuming less will
mhm,
rescue, will change a lot. Not say rescue, because I don't believe that the world is a victim. I
mhm.
believe the world is very intelligent,
Oh
and
yeah.
we will definitely always solve everything. I'm
Mm,
not worried about that, to be honest. I'm more in trust, but I just mean we all are here on this planet to live. And when you have this kind of a motivation to change something, it
mhm,
comes from because we want to have this experience. And
mhm,
when I feel like, oh, okay, look, this idea, wow, we would just consume less and everything will be so different in a good way. Oh my
mhm.
God, we have to do this, we cannot ignore this thought
Yeah.
for me.
Just yeah, living your truth. The last thing I'll say is just like just being an embodiment, just being an example, being a living example, a living testimony is really the best thing. I found that I don't go to any of my family and you know, the people that are closest to me and tell them what they should or should not do. Like I don't do that. I just kind of live my truth. And if they have questions, then eventually they come around, they ask me, you know, hey, what are you doing? You know, what's going on? Tell me about this. Tell me about that. And then we can open a dialogue and have this kind of a conversation. But
Mhm.
you know, just live your truth, live your
You're
authentic
right.
truth. And that's the biggest speaker, you know, that speaks volumes. Your energy speaks before your words do. You
Mhm.
know, it speaks so loud.
Mhm.
So your vibrancy is going to be what attracts people to you
Right.
anyway. And I
Right.
think it'll win more people over than anything that you could say,
Mhm.
because they say, you know, someone convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. You
Mhm.
know, they're still of the same opinion. If it didn't come from inside, it has to come from somewhere internally before it emerges. It has to come from somewhere inside.
Mhm.
So the seed might be planted, but you know, they water it, they tend to it, they nurture it on their own,
Mhm.
and that's when it's grown.
Mm.
So thank you, Justine. This is awesome. You know, just I love our talks. This has only been our second talk, and we've already explored so many things. And I just want to thank you for letting me on here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your, yeah, everything, yeah, your lifestyle and your knowledge, and that you're doing this all, because I see that on Instagram you're really talking with many people, right? With a
Yeah,
lot of people.
there, I actually have to do a meeting.
Yeah, so I was definitely take you here on the video, and that you also have books what you are saying, and I think it's very important. I should also do it with so many questions still. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. So I will let you go. Yeah, and see you soon or next week. Okay, Leute, ist jemand noch da? Wenn jemand da ist, ist er jetzt auf Englisch der Talk. Ich wollte nur sagen, dass Jerome ist eine super inspirierende Person. Crazy, ich bin so froh, dass ich mit ihm reden konnte, weil es gibt nicht sehr viele Menschen in meinem Circle, die ja, das wirklich auch leben, wofür ich quasi brenne. Oder es ist auch ein bisschen so mein Weg. Ich will da ja auch hinkommen, ins ja, frei sein von diesem emotional eating. Ich sage, das ist ja immer emotionales Essen. Es sagt gerade etwas, verstehe ich schlecht. Okay, verstehe ich mich jetzt noch allgemein Feedback gerne, dass wir Ihnen Feedback geben können. Der Ton ist schlecht, aber okay, woher kommt das denn? Okay, ich weiß nicht, ob es daran kommt, dass er jetzt rausgegangen ist. Woran liegt das denn? Aber okay, ich weiß es nicht. Wenn nicht, muss ich das jetzt einfach abbrechen. Habt ihr aber ein bisschen was verstanden? Wie war das mit dem Englisch für euch? War das okay? Zwischendurch immer wieder mal, und dann ging es alleine wieder. War für 20 Minuten auch schon mal kurz angezeigt, dann war es wieder weg. Okay. Ja, ich weiß nicht, woran es liegt. Wahrscheinlich an der Verbindung. Ich meine, ich bin hier in die Verbindung ist jetzt auch nicht so genial wie in Deutschland. Oder in Deutschland. Ich weiß gar nicht, wie es auch ist, wahrscheinlich besser, aber I don't know. Ja, auf jeden Fall, wenn ihr Feedback geben könnt, noch sehr gerne, ob euch das auch so gefallen hat, mal so auf Englisch reinzuhören. Das ist halt so, dass solche Themen kann ich halt, deutschsprachige Leute ist immer ein bisschen schwierig da zu finden. Ne? Das sind ja wirklich krasse Geschichten. Sein Mentor, also von Jerome, der Mentor, der isst nichts und trinkt nichts mehr seit Ewigkeiten. Das ist auch mega krass. Ich weiß nicht, wie viele Jahre er selber trinkt noch was seit 2 Jahren. Und sein erstes Fass, was er gesagt hat, war 2 Monate. Ne? halt nichts ist und wie es in jedem ist. Und es ist halt super interessant, denn ich resoniere extrem damit und ich freue mich halt auch sehr, einem Menschen zu begegnen, der, ja, der mich versteht und der halt genau das sieht, was ich fühle, wo ich halt hin möchte. Also ich fühle das sehr, was der sagt, also alles eigentlich. Genau. Also ja, ich bin sehr, sehr froh und ich werde jetzt Leute, will ich das kurz ankündigen, für alle, die Bock haben, ich werde ein Webinar geben, und zwar am 12. Januar. Ich will noch was erwähnen, am 12. Januar werde ich ein Webinar geben zum Thema Fasten. Und ich habe vor, einen groben Fasten zu starten. Ich habe richtig Bock darauf. Ich fühle das sehr, ich fühle sehr das Freuen zum Fasten. Und wenn ihr da Interesse habt, dann sehr, sehr gerne in meine Fastengruppe kommen. Also ich habe eine Fastengruppe gemacht für WhatsApp. Ich werde das gleich mal hier verlinken in die Videobeschreibung. Und dann einfach dabei treten und dann kriegt ihr auch den Link fürs Webinar. Wie gesagt, am 12. Das ist Sonntag. Ich denke mal, das wird dann um 12 Uhr deutscher Zeit sein. Genau, das wollte ich noch kurz ankündigen. Farina sagt, sie muss sich sehr konzentrieren, wahrscheinlich wegen dem Englischen. Ne? Also ich muss euch ganz ehrlich sagen, ich verstehe auch nicht jedes Wort. Also natürlich verstehe ich schon das meiste, aber manche Wörter, da waren auch so mal 1, 2 Wörter, wo ich dachte, okay, shit, was heißt das jetzt? Aber ich wollte jetzt auch nicht dann die ganze Zeit, na, ich habe schon diesen Kontext natürlich dann auch verstanden. Das ist jetzt nicht so, aber ja. Genau. Also ich würde sagen, das Live war jetzt auch sehr, sehr lange. Ich werde noch mal die Tage irgendwann vielleicht mal live kommen, einfach alleine. Ich war ja lange nicht mehr da bei euch und ich glaube, es gibt auch vieles zu besprechen. Jetzt der Ton wieder weg. Ah, super, das freut mich. Genau, und dass wir da mal ein bisschen uns vielleicht noch austauschen, jetzt gerade jetzt vorm neuen, nee, nach dem neuen Jahr oder wenn das neue Jahr beginnt, nach dem, also nach Silvester quasi. Ja, so ein bisschen ja, mal besprechen, was wollen wir uns vornehmen fürs nächste Jahr. Ich habe jetzt meine Vision Board erst erstellt. Es hat so viel Spaß gemacht mit den Mädels. Ich bin ja immer noch in Thailand. Wie wird es bei mir weitergehen? Es hat sich sehr viel getan, sehr viel Positives. Es läuft eigentlich alles nur besser. Ich bin am richtigen Ort und ich merke einfach, wie jeder zu mir sagt, ey Justine, ähm, ich sehe dich gar nicht mehr zurück in Mexiko. Ich sehe irgendwie, dass du in Thailand bleibst. Und ich bin sehr, sehr gespannt, ob das so sein wird oder nicht. Oh, Dirk hat gesagt, kein Livestream schlagen kann. Siehst du, du hast es manifestiert. Dirk hat mich hier manifestiert, dass ich jetzt 'n Livestream gemacht habe. Sehr, sehr schön. Genau. Jetzt sind das schon 120 Minuten. Ich würde sagen, ich bin dann mal auch off. Es ist jetzt 11 Uhr nachts hier bei mir in, Koh Phangan und ich wünsche euch noch einen richtig schönen Tag. Nicht vergessen zu liken, das Video zu liken. Vielleicht kriegt's ja ein bisschen Reichweite. Ich fand den Talk sehr, sehr wichtig. Und ja, vielleicht ist der Jerome dann irgendwann noch mal bei uns. Ja, mal gucken. Ich überlege auch, ob ich, fürs neue Jahr ein bisschen mehr Content mache zum Thema Fasten dann auf meinem Fastenkanal. Da ist es grad 'n bisschen ruhig, weil ich einfach so viele Projekte gerade habe und da ein bisschen, schauen kann, wie ich das organisiert bekomme. Genau. Aber ich denke, das Thema wird im nächsten Jahr noch präsenter sein denn je. Okidoki, Leute. Ich wünsche euch dann erstmal einen schönen Tag. Ich hoffe, es geht euch gut und schön, dass ihr dabei wart. Wir sehen uns dann im nächsten Video oder im nächsten Live wieder.